Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Nick Tan Chats, my magic and mostly mentalism review show. My name is Nick Tan, and on today's episode, I'll be chatting with you guys about The End by Angelo Carbone. So hi again guys, thanks for showing up, thanks for tuning in, welcome back to the channel, thanks for spending some time with me today. So on today's episode, I'll be chatting with you guys about a new book test, alright, that's been released by Angelo Carbone called The End. So book tests, right, along with mentalism wallets, I think, it's another one of my addictions, as I'm sure, the same goes for many of you out there. Book tests wise, I've kind of managed to quit a bit, I think, because I really have actually stopped buying book tests, I wish I could say the same for mentalism wallets, but that's a different story altogether. But yeah, book tests and, wallets, right, it's like, there are like so many of them, in the market, and we just know of a few of them. We buy some of them and we end up maybe just using one of them in our actual shows. For those of you who don't know what a book test is, it's an effect in mentalism where the performer gets a spectator to think of a word, all right, from a book, and then from there the performer, all right, the mentalist will divine the word and reveal it. So obviously, over the years, right, over the decades, there have been so many book tests that have been released, and I did kind of share my own collection on this channel as well on a previous episode that I did when I was talking about the Caleb Wade Alchemist book test. All right, so I went into quite a bit of detail there with regard to my opinions on book tests, and stuff like that. So if you're interested to have a look at that and to check out my little collection of book tests, do look up the Caleb Wade episode on my channel. So first of all, what do you get when you purchase The End? Okay, so I'm sure that most of you will know by now that this is not the book itself. All right, this is actually the packaging. Okay, and it really is a beautiful looking packaging. I mean, it's made to look like a book. All right, so it's a book that comes within a book. And inside the case, all right, you will get the link, okay, over here to the instructional video, the tutorial video. The tutorial video runs for, I think there are like two parts. The first one is about, 50 minutes, and the second one is just about half an hour or so, I think, But on the tutorial video, you will have Javier, all right, Javier Juanmer, who will take you through the actual handling, all right, exactly how to perform the book test, all the little tips and all the little, nuances to get you started and get you going. On top of that, there will be live performances as well, which was really useful to look at. There will also be additional ideas, that will be given to you by, people such as Lloyd Barnes. So yeah, the video is really complete, comprehensive, and, really well done. And I would like to take a moment, to talk about how I like Javier's way of teaching magic, right, and talking about magic, because he really just seems so passionate and so energetic, about the magic, right? He gets me excited actually to perform the effects, It's not like one of those boring tutorials, he's just full of energy, right? I mean, he goes like, "This is Angelo Carbone's book test. You guys are going to love it. So let's get into it. I can't wait for you guys." All right, but yeah, he's just so energetic and he's very effective, all right, in a good way, all right? So I really enjoyed watching him teach the tutorial. So on top of the video, all right, you will also get, let me just remove the actual book. We'll talk about this in a while. Inside the box, you will also get a little booklet, all right, which are the written instructions by Angelo, detailing, everything that you need to know about how to perform The End, all right? Now, I do understand that Angelo has got an updated kind of, file as well, all right? So I think if you contact him, he should be able to give you the link for that as well, all right? I think it's an additional, bit of information on top of this booklet. And then on top of the booklet, all right, there will be other stuff inside the box, which I won't show you guys, but, it will be useful for you if you don't wish to use memory. Okay, so I think that's good enough. But I will say, however, that these are really well designed. You will actually have 4 of them, all right? So 2 for left-handed spectators and 2 for spectators. two for left-handed performers and two for right-handed performers. Okay, now there's been some thought that has been put into the design of this particular thing. Okay, I guess I could just flash it like that. The thing, because it accounts for how you hold your writing implement. Okay, so I thought that was really, really good. So let's talk about the book itself. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to talk about the physical aspects of the book. Now, the book is really, really well designed. Okay, it's really well designed. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it really, really resembles an actual book, okay, that you will find on a shelf. Okay, and I thought that was really, really great because, you know, there are some book tasks out there, and I'm sure many of you, you know, you have your own as well. The method is great, it's really, you know, convincing or really strong, but the book looks nothing like a real book. I don't know, the pages, the type of paper that is used, the font, the formatting, you know, of the book itself, yeah, it just doesn't look like an actual real book, right? There's no, you know, like the copyright page and the title page and things like that. But yeah, you know, a lot of effort has gone into the design of this book to make it look as legit as possible, all right? So everything, I mean, the type of paper used, you know, the font size, the formatting. And from what I understand, Angelo actually wrote the book as well, okay? So it's readable, okay, but not like, you know, from start all the way to finish, okay? I mean, you will start to see certain things come up after a while, okay, but let's leave it at that. But for a spectator who just opens the book to anywhere and just starts reading it, you know, they could read it for a couple of pages and it will make sense, okay? So it's not one of those like where every page is the same, you know, that kind of a thing, all right? So yeah, physical wise, the prop is just perfect. So let's talk about method, all right? Now the method is actually an adaptation, all right, of a well-known method, okay, put out by U.F. Grant, that was popularized as well by the late Ted Karmilovich, you know, in his Mother of All Book Tests, you know, which is a really popular one. The thing is, in those methods, right, you kind of need to, well, get a certain piece of information. Okay, I'm sure those of you who know it will know what I mean, right? You need to get a certain piece of information which might kind of risk you missing. Okay, and then after the miss, you are then, you know, you have to kind of correct yourself and ask, right? Literally openly ask for a certain bit of information in order for you to continue the routine and to bring it to its, you know, successful conclusion. There have been some, you know, approaches to kind of countering this little potential flaw, all right, in this method. I mean, it's a really strong method, you know, looks really fair, but you do have to ask for one bit of information, right, openly, okay, which might feel a little bit, you know, suspect to some, you know, spectators, right? Some people have come up with ways to overcome it. I favor this, all right, which is All About Eve, right, from Steve Della. Occasionally, I also use this one, the Sherlock book test, I think. This is put up by Colin MacLeod. Different method altogether, all right, but this is one that I do use from time to time. But for the hands-off, kind of think of any word kind of, you know, effect, this is the one that I'm currently using, I suppose, because this, what Steve Della has done is, well, there is still that element of kind of openly requesting for information, right? That crucial bit of information. But before you get to that part, you kind of are able to hit the spectator 3 times. Okay, so you get 3 hits in, and people see that, you know, you're on the right track, you know what you're talking about, before you get to that step where you have to kind of, you know, openly, you know, ask for information. I think I can, you know, tell you that much, right? So it's great to get some hits in first, okay? Because, I mean, I'm sure if you've performed, you know, with the Mother of All Book Tests kind of a method, you know, that moment when, you know, you ask them, you know, what was the blah, 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 right? You kind of feel a little bit guilty, you know, so it's great to have some hits in first, because that gives you a little bit more confidence, you know, when it comes time to openly ask for information, right? Give them something first before you actually ask for something back. So yeah, that's how Steve Della, handled that, right? He came up with a system where he enabled you to kind of get in some hits first before you ask for that bit of information. And some other, approaches to solving this kind of a thing have come about, right? From using, another audience member, perhaps, to try to guess. And, to use another book or another word, all right, that you can bounce back and forth with, okay? Or you could also use, a kind of... a one-ahead kind of a method, okay, to kind of start off the word, and then you're home free right after that. So yeah, these are all different ways to approach handling this little flaw, all right, in the original method. So let's talk about how Angelo has decided to handle it. So for the end, all right, what it looks like is this, all right. So the spectator is handed the book. They can turn the book to any page, they crack it open to any page, and they are asked to think of, any word, okay, any word, right? And from there, they are asked to just memorize the word, they know how to spell it, they close the book is placed aside, and from there, your reading begins. Now, as opposed to how things were done originally, all right, where you, at this point, just toss something out blindly and hope for the best, right? And then, you have to openly ask for a little bit of information before you can proceed. What Angelo has done is he gives you a way of creating this illusion, all right, that you do throw out a bit of information which may or may not hit, all right? It won't hit most of the time, okay, but, let's assume it doesn't hit, right? So it doesn't hit, but you kind of convince the spectator that, no, it is a hit, okay? It's just that they don't realize it, all right? And then through that process, you then get the information. Okay, so it doesn't look as though you were completely wrong or you didn't know anything and you just, asked for something openly. It is a case of you kind of, there is a this, right? And they go like, no, and you're like, oh, no, I'm pretty sure there is something. And then they go, oh yeah, that's right, you are right. Okay? And then from there, something else happens and you get the information you need. So yeah, that's what he has done to kind of cover that little thing that you need to get over, right? To get that crucial bit of information. Also, I think an important point to mention is that, the title of the book test is called The End, right? So it deals with, the end, okay? And I think that is a little bit more subtle than, using the beginning, okay? Because the end doesn't seem to give you enough information, all right, to know what the word is. So yeah, I think psychologically that kind of helps the method, and disguises it, even further. So that's all I can say about the process and the method, right? On top of that, I think what else I can talk about is there memory work involved? And the answer is yes. Okay, at least the way I want to perform it. Okay, I've committed what I need to commit. I've committed what I need to commit to I have memorized what I need to get memorized. Okay, so it's all up here right now. So I think that's the best way to go about it. It gives you really, freedom, right? It's quite liberating to know that you can perform this, anytime, anywhere, without having to worry about extra stuff. All you need is the book. But yeah, if you don't wish to memorize what you need to memorize, you can use what I showed you in the box earlier, okay, and just go that kind of a route as well. But if you do get the book test, I urge you to just commit it to memory, because another thing that is quite unique about this book test is all the stuff that you need to get memorized, okay, can be memorized with a kind of, it's not really mnemonics, it's kind of like a phonetic kind of a aid. Okay, so I think I can say that much. It kind of helps you, because there's a way that Angelo has built in, like a little system, that kind of cues you what the whole word is, all right, phonetically. So it is something, but it will remind you of what the word is. Okay, so using that system coupled with just, simple brute memory, I don't think anybody will have a problem getting the words down with, just a small amount of effort. So something else I do need to tell you guys, right? I mean, the method is really simple, the method is really strong, it's a really direct kind of a thing. You do have to learn and memorize the sequence of how to perform this book test, okay? Because I really don't want people to butcher the method, all right, by, you know, trying to guess the first letter first. You know, because if you do that, then it really defeats the whole purpose of this particular method, and you're really not capitalizing on the benefit that this method offers you, right? So please, 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 if you buy this, if you're going to perform this, really understand the method, and perform it well, right? It will work really smoothly, really well, as long as you follow the sequence of events that you need to do. The script can be kind of changed, okay? So you don't have to follow, you know, word for word, right? So you can kind of script things in your own language, but the way you get to the word has to be a certain way, I think, for it to be effective. So that's all I can say about the end, all right? Now, before I leave, okay, I'm going to throw in a little tip for you guys, okay? Because this is the way I perform with Steve Della's All About Eve, all right? So what happens is, well, this book test, all right, as you know, both of these actually were designed for a one-off kind of a thing, all right? Because, you know, it's just a one-word thing, right? You have one spectator think of one word, they close the book, you tell him the word, and that's that, right? I have got an extra beat in this, okay, by using Mark Paul's AAA book test. Okay, so you could just get two spectators up on stage. You, kind of riffle through the book, and you know, you have one spectator think of a word, get the word via Mark Paul's method. Okay, hand him the book, have him hand the book to someone else, and have that spectator choose a word via the method that is intended for the particular book test that you're doing, right? And then you have kind of two beats. All right, you can have the reveal of one kind of word with the first spectator, all right? Probably not going to be too impressive, you know, because you were handling the book, right? And then before you reveal the second spectator's word, which will already be, you know, psychologically more impressive due to the nature of the word that he has chosen, okay? But you can also stress the conditions, right? That you are not touching the book, you're not near him, he turned to any page himself, he handled the book himself, he could have thought of any word, that sort of thing, and then you go into the reveal, all right? So I thought I'd just share that with you guys, because that is also applicable to the end, all right? You could very easily perform Mark Paul's book test with it first, and then go into the method for the end. Alright, so that's all, guys, I have to say about The End by Angelo Carbone. Alright, I do hope I've answered your questions, you know, and if you have any more, you know, things that you're not sure about, if I can help you, just place them in the comment section down below, and I'll try my best to answer them. I want to thank Angelo Carbone, you know, for really kindly sending this copy of The End over to me so that I can have a look at it, learn it, talk about it on this show, and also to use it in my own show as well. The End has been put out by Murphy's Magic, so I'm sure you can pick it up at all your favorite magic dealers. So as always, guys, thanks for tuning in. I do hope you enjoyed this episode and got something out of it as well. Till the next episode, do take care of yourselves, stay safe, and I will see you on a future episode of Nique Tan Chats.